All right, Raider Nation, we got some news coming out with the Las Vegas Raiders that I want to share with you today, and we're going to break down and go over. I got my printout, my notes here, so we're going to go through each one of these guys that have come and done personal workouts with the Las Vegas Raiders. And I think it's pretty telling about who has come to do personal workouts and who's been left off of the list as the days are counting down for the 2025 NFL Draft. These names are critical, and they could be a telltale sign of who is in the running for the Raiders to draft and who is not. First, I do just want to say thank you guys so much for everybody that has subscribed to the channel. It means so much to me and my family and everybody here at the company. And guys, without you, this simply does not happen. So big shout out to all of the subscribers and all of the members who are actually paying every single month to help the Raider D podcast bring you this quality content each and every single day. So big shout out to everybody. We're almost at 12,000 subscribers. So do me a favor, hit that subscribe button if you haven't done so already, if you found any value out of these videos. Also want to say thank you to today's sponsor, and that is Vtoman, but more on them later. Let's get into today's video. We're going to talk about some of the guys, actually all the guys who have come and done a personal workout with the Las Vegas Raiders. And we're going to start out with one of the guys that I'm very excited about, a guy that I believe will be available in the second round, possibly even in the third round if he were to fall that far. But I think if the Raiders have him sitting there in the second round, they should draft him. And that is wide receiver Luther Burden out of Missouri. This guy is a playmaker. He's quick, he's twitchy, he's fast, he's got great hands, and he has big play ability. He can play all over the field. He can play slot, he can play X, he can play Y. Wherever you need Luther Burden to play, this guy can get it done. And I think that he is going to have a fantastic career in the NFL as an, at least a Pro Bowl wide receiver. And so I think the fact that the Raiders have brought him in on a private workout goes to show a few things. Number one, the fact that we've only had a couple of wide receivers come in for personal workouts is a little bit telling. Number one, why haven't we had Tet McMillan? It's very likely that Tet McMillan will be available at pick number 6, and we need an X wide receiver. I'm not sure, but I think that kind of signals where the Raiders are really feeling about who they're going to pick at pick number 6. And so they're looking at wide receivers who are probably going to be available in the second and third round. Another wide receiver that they did bring in is Jalen Newell out of Iowa State. Again, this is another guy who's very versatile. He can play all over the field. He has quickness. He has good hands. He has a lot of potential. Is he a first rounder? No. However, if you were to get this guy, he's going to be a great depth piece and a guy that you get to develop. Remember, we still have some young wide receivers with the Raiders right now as it is that are also going to get a chance to play more this season. And so I think that if you were to grab this guy in the third round, it would be a good pick. Now, interestingly enough, that's all the Raiders have done for private workouts when it comes to wide receivers. Now, we've sent scouts to pro days. We also had scouts and the GM at the combine looking at wide receivers. So that doesn't necessarily mean that there's not other people that are on the draft board. However, the fact that you only have had 2 private workouts with wide receivers. Now, remember, you only get 30 of these invites per season. And so they're playing it careful. They haven't used up all of them. There are more to come, but the fact that we only have 2 wide receivers on this list right now is a little bit telling to me. Let's get into some of the quarterbacks that the Raiders have invited to come and take a look at. Number one that's very interesting to me on the board right now is Jalen Milroe out of Alabama. He's the first guy on this list for quarterbacks who've done a private workout with the Raiders. And I think that's very interesting because Jalen Milroe, in my opinion, he's not going to get drafted in the first round. He showed that he needs a lot more work as a quarterback. He is, the most elite athletic quarterback coming out of college in many years from the past. And so the dude runs a 4.3, 340, I believe. Super fast, big, tough, durable guy. and he can chuck the rock like nobody's business. The problem is touch on the ball, making the right reads on the defense. All of that is still an issue because of the way that they played him. They did not play him to be a, guy who's going to throw the ball 30 or 40 times a game. He's going to throw the ball 18, 20 times a game, and he's going to run the ball, 15 times a game. And so because Alabama used him that way, I think he's not ready for the NFL at that position. However, interesting enough, we have Geno Smith for the next 3 years. Now, yes, we could get out of his contract next year with an $18 million dead cap, pay off his guaranteed money, all of that. Yes, that's true. But I think that if you're going to go quarterback who you believe could be a franchise guy in the future, he just needs more work. He needs more coaching to become an NFL quarterback. Jalen Milroe, you really can't go wrong with. If you get him in the second round and he doesn't pan out and he's just a backup quarterback, it sucks you lost the second round on him. But the fact that this dude is so athletic and such a big playmaker, he has such a high upside. If he can become a better quarterback with more coaching and sit for 2, maybe 3 years, then you bring him in as a starter, Jalen Milroe could really light it up. And I think as a succession plan, from Geno Smith to your younger franchise quarterback, Jalen Milroe does make sense. And I think Jalen Milroe could prove a lot of doubters wrong, just like Lamar Jackson has done in his career. So very interesting there. We also have Quinn Ewers out of Texas. Makes perfect sense. He's a good quarterback. Is he a great quarterback? In my opinion, no. I think Quinn Ewers is one of those guys who's been a letdown. He was a 5-star recruit. He was a big name coming out of high school, and they just expected more from him, and it just really didn't pan out that much in Texas. However, the fact that the Raiders are looking at him means that they have some interest. We also have a guy named Cam Miller out of North Dakota State. Highly unlikely that the Raiders were to draft this guy, but maybe an undrafted free agent is a possibility. Now, I want to get into a little bit of offensive line. We're going to get into some defense, and then we're going to get into the position that I think matters most in the first round. Right after I just tell you guys this. Listen, I just got a car starter, battery bank, air compressor, all in one unit from my guys over at Vtoman Solar. So yes, they don't just make solar panels and solar inverter generators, but they also have some other really cool stuff like a powerless power washer, or not powerless, a battery power washer, and also this battery bank that I just got from them. I've tested it out, fully charged it up. I've aired up the tires, aired down the tires, aired up the tires, and started the truck with it. And let me tell you right now, it's a game changer for especially me being out here 45 minutes from town. If I get a flat tire, I'd rather just be able to pump that tire up and drive, if I can, right? If it's a slow leak, drive into town, maybe pump it up halfway there again, and just let, like a tire shop deal with it and fix it. I don't want to have to change the tire out here if I don't have to, and I definitely don't want to have to try and fix a flat and all that stuff. So having that portable air compressor always ready is a game changer for me. So big shout out to Vtoman, guys. I'm going to leave a link to the air compressor slash car charger starter. I don't know what exactly you call it, but basically if your battery dies, you can hook it straight up to this unit and it will start your car. So it's absolutely cool. I love it. I'm going to share it with you guys. Link is down in the description. Go and check it out for yourself. It's also in the shopping cart. Now let's get back into some of these guys that I want to talk about. So we've got a couple of offensive linemen in here. We have Charles Grant from a small school called William and Mary. We have Will Campbell from a big school, LSU. Both these guys are tackles, and I think that if you're going to go tackle, in my opinion, it's got to be more of a swing tackle. You need a guy, because listen, DJ Glaze is our right tackle. I don't think he's going to lose his job. This dude played too well as a rookie, and Colt Miller ain't going nowhere. So you need a depth piece. You need a guy who can come in if somebody goes down, because injuries do happen. I think Will Campbell would be perfect for that. Also as a successor, eventually, for Colton Miller. Now, we also have Caleb Rogers out of Texas Tech. He's an offensive lineman. He can play guard. He can play tackle if you need to. So another depth piece. The fact that they're bringing these guys in and looking at them tells me that the Raiders are thinking, and according to insider reports, they are, second and third round is going to be offensive line. They're going to build those trenches. But we also have defensive players here as well that I want to talk about. We have linebacker Jalen Walker out of Georgia, an absolute beast. We have Teddy Buchanan out of Cal. And we also have Oladeja, I never pronounce his name right, out of UCLA. He's an edge rusher, and I think any one of these guys would be absolutely fantastic. I think Jalen Walker goes in the first round, so I don't see the Raiders actually landing him, but we could trade back in and get him because I do believe that the Raiders need a star linebacker, a guy that is going to be here for multiple years, 5 years, 6 years, 7 years, 8 years, a guy that's really going to be able to set the dynamic and the tone for the Raiders. And so the fact that they are looking at linebackers, especially at Jalen Walker, does tell me that the Raiders may have a plan to move back into the first round and grab somebody. But if all else fails, they have some backups. We also have some quarterbacks on this list. Obviously, big name, Will Johnson, Michigan, injured last year. The dude has a chance to be an all-pro corner in the NFL. Reminds you a lot of a Charles Woodson type player. Could he be a Charles Woodson? I don't know. With his injury, will he be able to get back to that form and be an absolute stud and a beast in the NFL? I don't know. But his upside is unimaginable. It's huge. And so I think the Raiders would be a fool not to look at Will Johnson, especially if Will Johnson's injury cause his stock to fall and he's sitting there around pick 23, 24, 25, Raiders could trade back into the first round and pick up Will Johnson. But they got backup plans out of Notre Dame, Benjamin Morrison out of UTSA. That's Zaw Frazier. Both these guys are accomplished corners in college. I think they're going to have good careers in the NFL. I think, in my opinion, Will Johnson's the only one out of those three who is a first rounder, but you got, Benjamin Morrison, I think for sure is going in the second round. And I think Frazier could be available in the third round. You also have Malachi Starks, safety out of Georgia. Dude's an absolute stud and a beast. Not sure where we're going to go with safety and why we're bringing in safeties here, but I don't see the Raiders drafting a safety in the first round. You also have Nick Imanawari. Hope I pronounced his name right, out of South Carolina. Don't know a whole lot about him, honestly, so he's just on the list, so I'm going to let you guys know about him. I'll have to do more research later to find out more about Imanawari. I hope Imanwari. Yeah, Imanwari, something like that. We haven't talked about the running back position just yet, and I think that the running back position is the most important part of this list of people that have come to work out with the Las Vegas Raiders. And so there's two guys on this list right now. I do believe that the Raiders will have some personal workouts with a few more coming up. But right now we have Caleb Johnson out of Iowa. Made a video about him. Great running back. The dude, I think, is going to be a starter in the NFL. I think he's going to be available mid-second round. And so if the Raiders were wanting, if they wanted to go out and get Caleb Johnson in the second round, but not a high second round, I think you could trade back and still end up with him. And there you go. Pair him with, the running back core that we have right now and Mostert. I think you're going to have a dynamic 1-2 punch with those two. And I think that the Raiders would have a much upgraded run game at that point. However, the one that we've all been talking about, the one that nobody wants to miss out on, the one that is most controversial outside of Shedeur Sanders is Ashton Jeanty. Love him, hate him, believe in him, doubt him, whatever you want to do. Ashton Jeanty, mark my words, he's going to be a starter in the NFL. He is going to be an absolute stud, and he came for a private visit with the Las Vegas Raiders. And there's been so many leaks that the Raiders are very high on this guy. If he is available at pick number 6, I just don't see the Raiders passing up on this guy. He is an absolute stud. Now, a lot of people say, oh, well, he didn't play well against Penn State. Well, let me just remind you, he had 106 yards against Penn State. He had 19 forced missed tackles against Penn State. He had 23 reception yards against Penn State. No fumbles. And let me just tell you this, Penn State was the number 7 overall ranked defense with the 9th best rush defense in college football last year, and he still put up over 100 yards. And yes, he didn't get touchdowns. That happens in games. Running back's not going to get touchdowns every single game. But the fact that you could still, by yourself, despite Boise State really being dominated by that defense, he by himself still put up 100 yards. He by himself still forced 19 missed tackles against a top 10 defense in college football. So don't tell me that he's not good because he played with Boise State in the Mountain West. That dude is an absolute stud. He's a beast. And I swear, if the Raiders pass up on a guy like Ashton Jeanty, we will all be regretting it in just a couple of years when we're seeing this dude break records in the NFL and become an all-pro running back. That's all I got for you today, guys. Drop your comments down below. Is there anybody on this list that you like to see on the Raiders? And is there anybody on this list that is missing that you think the Raiders should bring in as a private workout? In the meantime, make sure you hit that subscribe button, the bell notifications, and the like button, and comment down below. And I'll see you guys in the next Raiders video.